Most investors and traders, they're going to go into a trade. They're going to say, hey, listen, I want to make $1 million overnight, which again, it may work once or twice and then they lose it all. You have to start with the basics. You have to do it the right way.
The price of Bitcoin has increased by almost 60% and is currently around $27,000 in 2023 due to expectations that the Federal Reserve would pause its quantitative tightening during the U.S. banking crisis. However, the Bitcoin price has not been able to surpass $30,000 with certainty. Hello and welcome to Crypto Street. In this video, the following conversation will center on Gareth Soloway's professional advice and techniques for profitable trading, along with the latest updates and examination of Bitcoin.
In your life, you can't wake up one day and just say, hey, I'm going to be a disciplined trader. Discipline comes from starting at home. When do you wake up? Are you someone that oversleeps and you're like, I'll get to something later? Or are you someone who says, listen, I have to accomplish these tasks today, whether it be laundry, whether it be housework, and you get it done and you check it off your list? That's discipline. Discipline in maybe getting to the gym, getting a workout in. I think that a big part of investing is keeping your mind and body in shape, and that comes with the gym as well as maybe meditation or yoga, or even just looking in the mirror and saying to yourself and repeating things like, I will not chase stocks or crypto today. I will abide by the factors. I will learn this methodology. I will stay a strict disciplined trader. So all of these things kind of come hand in hand. Most people will tell you, oh, listen, I just want to start clicking the buy button or the sell button. The bottom line is people that do that will lose money. You need to see that discipline. The mindset starts at home and it carries into trading. Yeah, so emotion is part of trading, but it needs to be taken away from trading to be level-headed and do the right thing. So, for instance, the biggest thing to control emotion is position size. All right, if someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to invest X amount of dollars in a stock or a cryptocurrency, I'm going to say, okay, to you, if you invest that and this stock or crypto goes 10% against you, are you going to get emotional? If the answer is yes, then it's too much. It's too big of a position. So make sure that when people invest, you have to invest the proper amount, that if I were to strap you with a heart rate monitor and you were in that trade, if it goes against you, your heart rate should not budge 1 inch. It should not change at all. And that will tell you that it's the right position size. You need to essentially be robotic. You want to have no emotions, purely ruled by logic, charts, discipline, and that's the way to succeed, right? And again, this is something that we don't find in everyday traders. Most investors and traders, they're going to go into a trade. They're going to say, hey, listen, I want to make $1 million overnight, which again, it may work once or twice and then they lose it all. You have to start with the basics. You have to do it the right way.
After the price of Bitcoin reached a crucial psychological level, buying momentum slowed down and caused a correction toward $25,000 in the past week. This decline has led to an increased correlation between Bitcoin and traditional financial metrics. The question now is whether this increased correlation raises the risk of Bitcoin continuing its downtrend in Q2. Let's take a closer look.
I talked about this for months in advance about the 30,500 level. And again, psychologically, that is like the major point of contention here. It was a level where, for me, it was a pivot point whether or not the low was in or not. And so far, we haven't broken through it. So the low to me is potentially still not in crypto. The level, why psychologically it's so important, it was the beginning of this mega move up to 65,000. It was the dip lows and then the move up to 69. And then we came in and consolidated before breaking down. So essentially, we've just reversed that move. If we zoom into the current price action, you do have some bearish stuff going on here, right? Number one, you still can't take out 30,500. You have a level here at 27, which I'm watching closely. But you could also make a case that there's a pretty clear trend line, and maybe even going back to here, or we can just slide that up underneath.
There you go.
And that's another concerning thing. So right now we haven't broken it, so you got to give it credit for not breaking it yet. But if this takes out to the downside, then that's where trouble really gets started. And yeah, I mean, to me, to see so many bulls out there, I don't know if you're saying that there's potentially new lows to be seen in
Yes.
as well. But again,
Yes, I am.
I would say you and I are probably one of the only people out there. I think there might be one or two else out there talking about that. It's certainly not the common perception. But to me, this is a bear market rally. And look at 2018-19. You had rallies that were percentage-wise bigger than what we've seen here, and we still came down and made new lows, or at least touched the same lows out there. So I do hope people are careful. I think the government on purpose is not unveiling regulation because they want to unveil their stable coin, their CBDC. What concerns me and what I think a black swan could be is if the government unveils the stable coin, the CBDC, where does Tether fall in the mix there? What's the purpose of Tether if we already have something that the government has that's pegged to the US dollar anyways? And so then, I mean, I don't know. If all of a sudden Tether's not as useful, does it then create more instability? I'm not sure, but I do think investors need to be very careful.
The current market trend indicates that Bitcoin may experience a decline, and it is likely to reach the $15,000, $20,000 price range. The actual decline point may depend on the breakdown of the rising wedge pattern. Technical analysts recognize a rising wedge as a pattern that suggests a bearish reversal. This pattern is characterized by two contracting, ascending trend lines that define a range where the price rises higher. The resolution of this pattern is when the price breaks below the lower trend line, causing a decline that could potentially be equal to the maximum height of the wedge.
Yeah, so as I've gotten older, I've gone to the more of the short term more and more here. And then the reason is because the longer term, all right, so as a technician, when you're analyzing a chart, you can generally say, okay, this monthly chart, which will give me the viewpoint of the charts over the next 2 or 3 years, that is a harder analysis point to get right, meaning the further out you go on the spectrum, on the timeline, the harder it is. There's more possibilities of things that can change over time and throw curveballs into your analysis. The shorter you keep your analysis, the less likely you'll have these curveballs throw in. So while I do look at the bigger macro picture, my trading has become shorter term. And I always say this to people is like, when they say, well, don't you believe in Bitcoin long term? Why don't you just buy and just hold it for the next 20 years? Well, I do believe in Bitcoin. I do think it's going much, much higher. But when you see it at 69,000 and you see that it's going to drop to 20,000, why wouldn't you exit there and then use that 69,000 money to buy so much more at 20,000? So by trading short term, I'm actually able to maximize profits 10, 15, 100 times more than buy and hold investors. So I'm much more cued into the short term these days, and it's much more profitable.
According to Michael van de Poppe, the CEO of trading firm 8, the daily candle on May 12th was considered good. The prior analysis also indicated that $26,500 is a crucial level that must be regained before considering long positions. Now move on to the next question. It is being suggested that the price of Bitcoin could drop to $15,000 in 2023 due to its increasing correlation with certain macro charts. What are your thoughts on this? Please leave your opinion in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll see you soon in our next video. Thank you for watching.